So cool. Welcome guys tonight to, I don't even know, what are we, May something, right? Our team call. So I kind of want to have some engagement tonight. I think it's really important to go through some steps. So I just want everybody to kind of introduce themselves and kind of give maybe like a 2 or 3 minute storyline of like how they got here, what program's done for them, what they've been able to accomplish so far, probably in like 3 minutes. Don't set your timer, but don't ramble. But I guess we can start with Roy, since he's dead center on my screen. But Roy, just kind of come on and just share, like, how'd you get started? What's program allowed you to do, physically, mentally, and financially, and then kind of just, lead us on with this.
Cool. So I'm Roy. Those that don't know me, I am part of the Roy and Dawn group. She's probably driving. She'll be on soon. I started on program October 20, I guess it was. Met somebody who shared stuff out loud that we might all know. And I was in a pretty bad place, both physically, mentally, and financially, and wasn't looking for this program. This program, I believe, found me. And I think that's what we have to remember when we talk to people. We want people that are looking for us, and sometimes they don't know it yet. So it found me. We got on program, started a couple months, had great results. Turned out, started coaching. Didn't really want to. You hear that over and over again. Not something I want to do. Started coaching, hit ED in a month, and been hanging out there, and just have had a huge shift since then. Moving our business farther. It took about a year to do that, but we stayed there. Financially, we now travel. We now don't worry about, I'll be honest, we used to worry about paying rent every month. It would come down, we even asked our landlord, because we rent, if we could split rent up, half in, half first, half for the second part of the month. It was bad. Crazy thing is, she's on program now too. So all these people start coming to us for this. Before we started, we had to borrow money from our daughter to go on vacation. The morning of, we didn't have it. Guess what? We're not going crazy, but we're able to do things we want to do. Just got back. It's funny you asked to speak today from the doctor today. Just made a post. From A1C to cholesterol to kidney function to liver function to everything is all in line. It hasn't been that way in probably 20 years. So when you talk about what this can do for you physically, that's great. But what it's done for us financially, it's a gift that we didn't even know was there for us. And now we're sharing with other people. So I don't know what you wanted from us, Justin. I'm just grateful that someone put you in our lives. I mean, we know how that happened. Stupid boat still doesn't run, but that's all right. But it changed my life. And I really said it, if that thing never runs again, I really don't give a shit. Oh, sorry, it's recorded. I really don't care, because it actually gave Dawn and I our life back. We just did a 5K Saturday. What? Planning more stuff going on. I can ramble, don't ramble. 3 minutes, I know, I'm out of here. But just get loud and tell people about it with excitement. And that's it. Just share this. I almost said another bad word. Just share it.
Awesome, buddy. Awesome. So, Jennifer, you want to come off and kind of just share your story?
All right. So I'm Jennifer. I started program in the end of November of last year, 2021. And then my Christmas present to myself was to become a coach. So I ordered my coaching kit Christmas Eve. And that was my Christmas present to myself. So I had seen Justin, what he was doing for many, many years. Never reached out to him. He reached out to me and I just wasn't ready. And this last time I was ready. I was in a spot more so healthy mind, the business side of it that I was looking for, kind of that financial freedom. So I'm still working on that piece of it, but really excited to be able to have, my goals are within the next year to leave where I'm at and have that financial freedom. I have 4 boys and they get to travel all the time without me. I got to stay back. I work retail. And so most times I don't get to go. If it's a driving trip, then I get to go. But most times financially and the, time part of it, I just haven't been able to. So those are things that I want to be able to experience with my kids. And I've learned a lot from this program, just a lot about myself that I didn't even realize. Just kind of discovering me. And it was always, everything is about the family and your kids and so many other things. One of my sons, was born with a heart defect. So, there was a lot of open heart surgeries and doctor's visits. I mean, we still have all that, but that takes a lot out of you emotionally. So, I've learned a lot on how to deal with a lot of that stuff and actually help him now because he's had a lot emotionally from it. And I didn't know how to help him. And I was kind of that parent too. You're busy all day and you've been at work and you're tired and you come home and you can be snappy with your kids. And I'm not that mom anymore. So to say what this program has done for me is just amazing. There's not really words that that could have the impact of what this program has done for me. But I am forever grateful, and thank you, Justin. And that's my story.
Awesome, man. So cool. So Christine, let's go to you next.
Well, was everybody on last week? I think they already know my story.
That's okay. That is okay.
Well, both webinars, both the one for clients and for coaches, really resonated with me tonight. For those who heard my story last week, you know why. Really, we all go through really, really hard stuff. And if we haven't yet, we will. And I'm just absolutely blessed to not only have found the program itself, particularly the educational component, the Habits of Health component, but to have found a way to believe in myself, to take on a second job and give health coaching a try. And I just really, I don't know what Beverly and Justin saw in me because I didn't see it initially, but I am in love with coaching. I really am. It sounds corny, but I just signed up 2 people tonight, and I'm just like, I just keep thinking about them. And the one mentioned his grandma and he would like her to be on program. And that's all I can think about is his grandma and what is her health like? Is she okay? And these are the connections the type of human connections I've been able to make with teaching. I've been a teacher for 29 years. And I just feel so fortunate to have somehow stumbled upon this second career because it's fulfilling me in the same way that teaching has fulfilled me. I'm a people person, I don't want to just go and earn a paycheck or produce a product. I want to connect with people, and this allows me to. And I know I'm not saying much about my backstory, but I feel like everybody already heard it last week. But anyway, and then my Miracle Workers group, some of whom are on here as well. And we've just really been supporting one another. And I don't know what else to say. I'm finding myself at a loss for words as a teacher, which is extremely rare. So feel fortunate.
Okay, that's okay. There's a little bit of a point to my madness here in a minute, but I'm excited that you're sharing. That's all that matters. So, and I'm glad you're having fun with it. That's the main thing, is have fun with it. Ellen, do you want to come off and share?
Sure. Well, my background is coming on program that was February 2019, and I have a hormonal condition called PCOS, which most people relate that with something like this or anything at all wouldn't work. But thank goodness, this literally saved my life physically, but I realized very quickly that it's the mental, the mindset that really saved me, the real me that I've really learned more about the past couple years. I work in education also, and I took a new position last year in a very stressful job, a very stressful classroom. Stuck it out through last year, just putting my own oxygen mask on and coaching. But this year I've really had a shift that our financial success that we desire with all of our goals and for our son is so much more important than all of the stress that I'm putting up with at work. So I've been working with Justin and it's really helped me and my husband actually dream more about believing that our dreams will come true. We live in a little town in Texas, but we have dreams of selling our home. We have 2 horses and we want to, buy a place where they're in the backyard. And for him to actually have that hope that this is going to happen, that's thanks to Optavia. In the past months, I've been working more, just keeping that structure. And although the job is the obstacle's the way, well, that obstacle has really motivated me to take that leap of faith and continue to believe in those dreams. And I'm walking away from my job now in education. I have no fear of anything. I'm excited. I did some health assessments earlier with a brand new coach, and that's another big skill set that I've been working on. So I'm glad that I have taken the time to structure myself, no matter what life is like and what my job has been. I'm excited for the future, what's to come, the new coaches that are coming too. So definitely, Optavia has saved my life, and physically and mentally, but financially is saving us. We have a trip this weekend, and Optavia is paying for it. So I'm so blessed. That's my story.
Awesome. Karen, do you want to come off and share?
Sure. So I'm Karen, and let's see, I started 5.5 years ago, and I was just really sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was really lethargic and I don't know, just in really bad depression and funk mood and everything. So I saw, the photos from a friend and quickly hopped on the call and got to meet Justin. And I, quickly lost, within 4 months, I quickly lost 36 pounds and 40 inches in 4 months. And then talk about obstacles are the way. I found out that I had uterine cancer. So I had to go through a complete hysterectomy and chemo. And the chemo was in January, and I became a coach in February. So Justin was helping me with, I just kind of shot out of the gate and I hit my cab and everything. And I was doing really well, but I was doing it with a beanie on my head. I was bald and, actually Optavia saved my life in the fact that got my weight under control. And even though, our program says don't have while you're, have cancer, when you're having chemo, it's nice to be able to have those small little meals every, 2.5 to 3 hours, right? So that's what kept me going. And then I would have other food as well. I had to go like on a, I don't know, just like 3 and 3, but it was more like a 5 and 2 or, something, it it was kind of crazy, but the coaching part of it was really fun. And I brought on, several coaching partners, and my daughter being one of them. And, we just had a blast, traveling, to all these locations. Got to go on the ship, the cruise. Justin wasn't there. He was getting ready to have a baby. But, and Desiree wasn't there either. She was getting ready to have her baby. So that was a nice reward to be able to hit that in my coaching career. Financially, doing well. I also am in education. I work with special needs, and let's see, 24 years now. So retirement, I just looked at my retirement account. Looks pretty good. So, getting ready to probably put in that resignation and retirement notice pretty soon. So that's kind of where we're at.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you for sharing. Got the chime going too. I think I actually walked through that backyard too. At one point. I remember it looked the way it looks. So cool. So here's my thoughts on this. You guys all have amazing stories, right? I think the biggest disconnect for us though is we want to be short, sweet, and to the point. Like when I say share my story, we should know exactly what to say. Like to Roy's point, Roy's like, I don't know kind of what you're looking for, Justin. And I know it's like the person like, oh, am I supposed to say the right thing or the wrong thing and all that because Justin's on. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you guys want to get so fluid with your story. If you got 2 minutes in a grocery store, if you got 2 minutes on a phone call, if you got 2 minutes walking by somebody, you kind of systematically know exactly what to say every single time. Doesn't matter if Dr. A asked you your story and then all of a sudden you're shell shocked and it's Dr. A and it's like, oh, we want to get really fluid with knowing our story inside and out. This is one of the reasons why we always, when we have our Wednesday breakfasts, we share our stories. And we've kind of gotten away from that, Jennifer, to be honest with you. We should be doing that more at the breakfast we have now. But when we would go sit at the Monrovian, we would go around the table and it'd probably take a solid hour for us to share our story because you'd have everybody sharing for about 3 to 4 minutes. And it'd be like 15 or 16 of us over there usually. But the reason we're doing that, and a lot of coaches would be like, oh my God, we're doing our story again, because every week it would be a different story. That's the point. That's the reason I asked this. And I even kind of put my foot in my mouth because I started guiding you on what to say. I was like, okay, so let's talk about what before program did, what after. I should have just asked you what to say. And it probably would have been pretty similar to the same. But we got to get really connected, guys. When we talk about bullet points for like our Facebook grand opening, that is our story all the time. If you're getting on a phone call with a good friend and you want to talk about, dreaming a little bit and breathing into them a little bit, absolutely talk about, health and numbers and financial goals and things of that nature. But when you're just out chatting with people, we want to get really fluid within 4 to 5 bullet points before program and 4 to 5 bullet points after program. And I know the teachers are looking at me kind of crazy because they'll take bullet points literally. I see Christine looking at me. But what I'm saying is you want to just have a fluid one paragraph of, what, and Karen did a great point of it. You know what, after seeing a friend posting all these pictures, I finally decided to hop on and join. I was in a depressive state. I was in a place where I just wasn't feeling myself. I had put on some weight through my life. I just wasn't feeling good in my own skin. My energy was depleted. And, after seeing a few of these posts on social media through a friend, I just decided to say, hey, you know what? Why don't I ask her what she's doing? And then within a few short months, I'm down 36 pounds. My energy's increased. I'm feeling better. I'm sleeping better. Oh my God, I'm fitting into clothes I haven't fit into in so long. And not to mention, I even decided to pay it forward and start helping other people. And you know what? In that time frame, I've allowed myself to be able to look at a retirement that's a little bit different. And I'm really feeling good about how my life is going now. And the financial side of it has really blessed me and my family. I'm just going off of what I just heard her say, but literally that was probably 120 seconds, right? So the thing we got to do, guys, is get really fluid. Like if somebody's going to ask you their story and all of a sudden you're looking at them and you're like, oh my God, so they're a real estate agent. So I got to talk to them about like what's relatable to a real estate agent. or they're a nurse, so I got to kind of relate it to nursing. You don't. But we want to get really systematic with that. Like, it doesn't matter if the president, doesn't matter if Dr. A, doesn't matter if Dan Bell, doesn't matter if Doug Wood rolled up to you and said, oh my God, I want to hear your story. Well, I got to have the jumping off the roof kind of story, right? No, your story is your story. But you want to know it like the back of your hand. And yes, disclaimer a little bit, there is a shift when you start financially growing your business and doing those things, but you want to get really systematic with 4 to 5 bullet points before program and 4 to 5 bullet points after program. And even dabbling in the business side of it. If you're talking to somebody about the business, then yes, it's not going to be a 2-minute story, but you just want to get systematic, because this is what Kim Fisk used to do in grocery stores. Hey, you know what? I promised myself I'd talk to 5 people today, and you're actually number 3. And I'm just so excited about what's been going on in my life. Do you mind if I share with you my story? Now, she's not going to sit there for 25 minutes just going on and on and on about teaching and nursing and being a real estate agent, and found this program, and financially I've been able to do this and that. But so that was kind of the point of this little exercise, is we got to get very systematic with our story. Talk to yourself in the mirror. You guys think this is crazy. People do this. Comedians do this. Public speakers do this, right? I'm trying to think of his name. Dave Blanchard. He gets up at 4:30 in the morning and he envisions the room he's in. If he knows how many people are there, he envisions the room he's in, and he speaks to them in his mind at 4:30 in the morning before he's going to go out and speak at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. So he already knows the way the conversation is going to go in that room. He already prepares for it, right? He does do, on the side note, he does do like stats of like what people's mindsets are, because you have to fill out like a little, he knows what where most people's heads are at. But the point is though, is you just want to go out and be fluid with this conversation. Doesn't matter who asks you, you know it like the back of your hand, right? So those are things that we really want to kind of focus on, because the more systematic you get with that, the more impactful you can get. And guess what? You're not wasting your time, because 1 minute it could be a 5-minute conversation, and the next minute it could be a 35-minute conversation, and then the next one could be a 15-minute conversation, and the next one could be a 40-minute conversation, right? What we're trying to do is be more fluid with a lot of this stuff. And it's also a discipline in the sense of how much time are we spending with each individual person, right? Because if you spend 3 hours with somebody going around and around and around, and then they'll still think about it, you can probably do just as much in 10 minutes and they'll still just think about it, right? So this is where we can get overwhelmed with timing. This is where we can get overwhelmed in our business. This is where we can get overwhelmed in our health, not in our health, in our life, right? Especially if we have full-time jobs. So this is kind of why I wanted to share that. And I want to kind of answer any questions if you guys have some, but that was really, I was sitting here thinking, and I'm like, I had this thing I was going to talk about, and then I'm like, we haven't done this in a while. I just want to hear you guys' stories, because that is the nuts and bolts of what this conversation is. That's the nuts and bolts of what Dr. A talks about, building those relationships. And if we're kind of all over the map, we're going to be all over the map in other areas of our business too. But it's really simplistic when you're doing literally 5-minute conversations of, here's my story. I'd be really excited to connect you into this group. Let's friend each other on Facebook, and who's next kind of thing. Because now you can hit a lot more people than spending 55 minutes with one person and then 20 minutes with another, right? So does anybody have any questions about what I'm saying as far as your stories or anything like that? Okay, cool. So the other thing I want to talk about too is guys, one thing I've noticed is we really have to get better with these groups and supporting people in the groups. I know there's so many groups going on right now, but we got to really support each other. And I'm telling you guys to tell me the same thing. If you're posting celebration calls in the group and I'm not responding or I don't see them, please message me and let me know. But we got to build the energy back up in these groups. We got coaches being welcomed in, and it's like one person saying hi. Right. And I know there's not a lot of us on here, and I know a lot of us have full-time jobs, but we got to be a little bit more helpful with that one, and welcoming these guys in there, making sure those things are happening. The second thing is make sure everybody's doing their MAP calls. If you guys are senior coach and above, we should have our MAP calls done already. That's kind of pivotal on how this month's going to go. We're already into the 9th, and I'm not seeing a lot of MAP calls posted. So I'm just assuming we're not doing a lot of MAP calls. If we are, great, that's awesome. But those are key things. And then the third thing is where numbers were really good last month. I think we're really starting to understand what client celebration calls mean and coach Explorer calls look like. I know like Ellen's really rocking and rolling. She's starting to bring on coaches. I know Christine's doing really well with those. Roy and Don are doing well with those. One last thing too is don't forget on Saturdays, even if you guys aren't in the FIBC training, that was a qualification training for 8 a.m. every morning. On Saturdays, they're doing a company-wide. I don't know if you guys saw the call last weekend, but there's a company-wide call on Saturday mornings too. I'll be making sure to keep the links in there for that. And then the one last thing is I hope you guys registered for convention, because convention is closed. Right? So what I would suggest, and I know there's some newer coaches on here. If you guys can hear me, I know your videos are off, you're probably busy, but what I want to say is I would get on the waiting list to get into convention. And if you have a new coach coming on, I know like Ellen Ashland, which hopefully she can be on this call next time, but you want to make sure that they're on the waiting list to get in, because these guys go to this event, they're going to really see the heartbeat of what this company is, and not just some crazy dude in a green shirt yelling at them on a call, right? The mission is really important to understand. Like, we're not just sitting here pushing a crunch bar, right, or a diet. Like, there is a full-fledged mission to be had here. So it's really important for them to see that. And then the other thing too is, guys, we have time to qualify for Quabo. I don't know why I say it that way, for Cabo. So I would really, let's start to ramp that up. Let's get some maps put together. Let's get some ideas of what that looks like daily actions wise. And if you guys really want to try to run for this thing, there's still time to qualify for it. So, and I know some of you guys are like, dude, I don't even have 5 clients. That's okay. You can still make it happen. If we strategically work it out and map it out, we can still make it happen. I mean, look at example for Ellen. Like, Ellen had a mind shift, and now she's bringing on coaches and bringing on clients and getting referrals. And it's just a matter of that little bit of a shift in what can happen, right? And now it's game time. So it's not something I'm just making up out of thin air. So that's kind of all I had for tonight. I know the other calls were pretty magical. I love Nancy. She's awesome, man. Do you know Nancy's story was she was a referral from the company, returned her program, right? And then decided to come back and then become a coach even after not wanting to be a coach. And now she's an integrated presidential director. So the crazy things is you guys get all this stuff in your head, like, oh, my best friend's not going to do this. She's just who she is. Or, oh, that one client was being a pain and they never checked in with me. Everybody's a question mark, man. I'll tell you that right now. Everybody's a question mark. So the thing is when they're ready, and when they're ready to make that commitment and life is hitting them, right? I talked to Jennifer at like the perfect time. Talked to her for 6 years. And then it was just the perfect timing. So never give up on anybody, for sure. And make sure we're creating those lists daily. And that's really all I got going on. So you guys have a blessed evening, and we'll talk soon. And then don't forget about that Saturday call, for sure. All right, guys, we'll talk to you soon. Have a good evening.